Hello and welcome once again to YemmyCast, a video game podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, and iTunes. How y'all doing today? It's been an interesting week, recovering from the flu. It's been an interesting week in terms of gaming news, but we're on the weekend episode, and the weekend episode is just a little something. But hey, how's everyone doing today? Thank you for coming along. I am your host, YemmytheFerret, aka Yemmy, and of course this is YemmyCast, a video game podcast where I talk about things other than video games too, like movies, books. I haven't really talked about a book yet, actually. That's a lie. That's a dirty lie.
Boo! You stink!
So, on today's episode, I just have two items that I would like to talk about. One of them is a documentary that I watched that won an Oscar, and the other one is more Anthem news, which is probably going to be the highlight of the episode. So, I watched a movie called Free Solo, which is not related to Star Wars. The last episode I talked about Solo, a Star Wars movie story, Star Wars story. This week, or this episode, I'm talking about Free Solo, which is not connected to Star Wars whatsoever. Free Solo is about rock climbing without ropes. It's called soloing, free soloing. It's a very, very intense sport, I would say. I think this movie did a good job of showing just how insane people have to be to do this kind of thing. Now, he's not like insane, like mentally insane. He's just like, he has a lower fear registration in his brain or something like that allows him to do this stuff without being too overly scared like a lot of people would be, which was really interesting to kind of dive into. And then they also dived into his relationships and his past and how he got into rock climbing and soloing. And it was very interesting. I think the movie did go on for a little bit too long. It's an hour and 30 minutes, and I felt like, it was a little bit long. It slowed down kind of after his first attempt at climbing the cliffside without ropes. But this movie was directed by Jimmy Chin and Elizabeth Chai Versailles. I can't pronounce that name. And it won Best Documentary Feature at the Oscars. Which is, I think it's well deserved. It's shot very, very well. It looks beautiful. There's a lot of cool imagery in this movie or documentary. And the one thing that they really, really had to work on and worry about was, him acting differently in front of camera as opposed to him doing it without cameras. And they focused on that a lot towards the end, especially when he was actually doing the climb. You might be asking, Yemmy, what did he climb? He was the first person ever to climb El Capitan, which is in Yosemite National Park, without the use of ropes or anything like that. It's really interesting how they dived into how it all works, like how you have to use your arm strength to prop yourself up here, how you have to kind of use your thumbs to prop yourself up here, how you're literally standing on inches of adjacent rock face. It's quite incredible. And to watch it happen over the course of 3 hours was... The climb took 3 hours. The movie's not 3 hours. I'm sorry. I should clarify. Watching it happen over the course of 3 hours was really mesmerizing, and they kind of went over all the parts that he was the most worried about, and the other parts were just kind of like easy for him, I guess. They also dived into some of the soloists who have died, and I felt like that was a really good part of the movie, like showing how these people who... relatively young, looking for thrill-seeking. They had established themselves in the soloing community, and then all of a sudden one day, they fell and died. He actually experienced 2 injuries throughout this documentary. One of them was one that it happened a few months before this documentary started, but his girlfriend accidentally didn't look at how long the rope was, and he just pretty much let him fall while he was practicing cliffside climb, and he did something to his back that was almost a serious thing. But luckily with chiropractic, he was able to keep climbing. And then once again, second time with his girlfriend, he fell and sprained his ankle. So that was a big part of the movie, and him recovering and getting back up to being able to do what he wants to do in life. You can watch the movie now on Hulu and a few other places as well. It's an interesting movie. It's not really like exciting, but it's interesting, and it has a nice flow, has great cinematography in it, and I think they really set up the documentary well. Obviously, it's a National Geographic movie, so it's going to be higher than most documentaries you see. Me personally, I wouldn't watch the documentary again. I think I got everything I needed to out of it from my first watch. But I would recommend it to people who are interested in this kind of thing, rock climbing, soloing, whatever you want to call it. If it sounds interesting to you, I would definitely give it a watch. It's an hour and 40 minutes, but it does feel a little long, but it is still interesting enough to keep you watching. Because I watched the whole thing myself. And it was just it was a cool movie. Definitely would recommend it to people who are interested in this kind of thing. A score out of 5, I think I'd give this one a 4, simply because it is a little bit long. It does kind of slow down during some parts, but it still is good enough to keep you interested and to keep you watching. So yeah, I think a 4 out of 5 is definitely a good score for this documentary. All right, let's move on to something that a lot of people don't want me to talk about anymore, but it's big news and it deserves to be talked about. Anthem is pretty much just a train wreck now. Every week, almost every day, we're seeing more and more things about it that I don't personally like. But now someone on Reddit has done the math. The guy is named Termper Hoof. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. He's saying that Update 1.03 has broken the progression system in the game on a fundamental level. So Anthem has become just this giant train wreck. As I said last week, if you take all your equipment off of your character, you actually have a higher damage level, higher level of equipment, stuff like that. You can actually make your character stronger. The week before that, Anthem was bricking consoles, and Sony was actually handing out refunds to people, which was crazy to me because, Sony giving out money, oh man. But now, with this new update, Anthem is essentially feeding players misinformation with regards to their statistics. The only part that really matters is the hidden damage multiplier that, under the right circumstances, can completely overwrite the effects of what is supposed to be some of the most powerful equipment in the game. So essentially, this random equipment damage thing can literally be better or worse than the equipment that you get in the game. And this doesn't seem to be a bug. This seems to just be a design flaw in the game. The game's just kind of lying to you about how much damage you're doing. There's no real stat sheet in the game to tell you how much damage you're doing, so this person really had to dive deep and do the math himself to uncover this information. So this pretty much nullifies the loot system in the game. It doesn't matter what kind of equipment you get or anything like that. It just automatically doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all, which is really, really stupid. Even if you have the best gear that grinding can go through, or if you buy the best gear, you're probably going to have a better power level by just removing all your items and sticking with a few legendary items pretty much. So that's not very balanced. It's not very it's just kind of dumb. I really was hoping that BioWare would do something great, It's their first IP since Mass Effect, and it's a train wreck. It's a complete train wreck, and I'm pretty sure that EA is just going to shut down BioWare. There's no doubt in my mind that BioWare is it's just going to be shut down. It's sad, it's unfortunate, and you know what? It really just it was bound to happen, especially after Andromeda was so bad, and this game is just and this game is just tanking on all levels. It's already down in sales, and it's pretty much just been known that it's a bad game. So I don't know why people would still be buying it. I personally have not played it for 3 weeks now. I'm planning on getting back to it because I do want to experience it for myself and see and form my own opinions. But it's hard to even want to go back to the game after all this information comes out about it. So that's all I gotta say about Anthem. Kind of a waste of time, to be honest with you. All right. I got to play some Division 2 last night. Not too much, just a few hours. And I've gotten past the part in the beta where I stopped. I stopped at the first safe house in the beta. And I gotta say, I'm really enjoying the game. There's a few things that I have criticisms about, like the voice acting. The animation of people talking out in the open world is kind of weird, especially the first lady you talk to. Her mouth is just not move in ways that it's supposed to. And then also not being able to level up wherever you are. You have to kind of go back to your base of operations or back to a quartermaster in order to upgrade. I felt like that kind of constricts the game a little bit. But all in all, I'm really enjoying the game. It's definitely a step up from the Division 1. They definitely put a lot of love and care into this game. The environments you're in, Washington, D.C. looks amazing. I'm really enjoying the different level areas. It all seems to kind of balance out really well. I'm getting a lot of loot drops. In the beta, I wasn't getting too many loot drops, but now I'm getting a lot of loot drops. So they definitely upped the droppage of loot. I am getting a lot of interesting guns from the game. So far, I've gotten like 15 shotguns and like 3 assault rifles and 1 LMG and a few SMGs. I haven't got any sniper rifles yet, but it's definitely worth. In my mind, this game is definitely worth it. It's worth the $60 price tag. It seems like a full and complete game so far. There's tons of side activities to do. There's a good amount of collectibles that aren't marked on the map this time. You actually have to find them for the most part. There's a new crafting system that I haven't checked out yet, but it is interesting to kind of gather supplies and hand them into different places that might need them. And you get like projects done in the area. So far, the combat is really smooth. It's really nice. The cover system works really well once again in the game. I do feel like there is a good amount of enemies who will swarm you in this one. I think in the last one they kind of kept their distance, but now there's more enemies that kind of swarm you, which gives it a little bit more difficulty to it, and that I'm okay with that. I feel like it all kind of balances out in the end. The new abilities, the new agent abilities are very nice, and the old ones that they brought back work just as fine, or just as well. And I'm enjoying my time with the game so far. I'm really excited to play more. It's definitely one of those games that I'm gonna dive into and play a lot of because I love the Division 1, and this game is just more of that love of Division that you want in a game. Did I say that right? That sounded kind of weird to me. Yeah, this game is definitely a hit. Not a miss.
I guess they never miss, huh?
I would recommend it to anyone who liked the Division 1, anyone who likes third person RPG, shoot 'em up kind of games. Yes, there are enemies that are bullet sponges, but that's kind of like the fundamental thing in this game. Is you know, there's a few bosses that they just require a lot of bullets to take down. Other than that, I can't find any other gripes about this game or anything like that. I'll keep you guys updated to how much I'm liking it as I play it more and more. I'm really enjoying my time right now, so I might be looking through this with rose-colored glasses. But I'll keep you updated. I'll keep you updated for sure. I'm definitely going to try and get back on Anthem this week to get more information about whether the game is still broken or not. I just was having a really boring time with the game, and it was very, very monotonous. So I might not play it, but I'm going to try. I'm going to give it the old college try. We're gonna get in there. We're gonna fist that game with a lubed up hand.
And you kiss your mother with that mouth?
And we're gonna try once again to play Anthem. I don't know if I'm gonna like it any more than I did, but we'll see. We'll see. That's the motto of this podcast is we'll see. Apex Legends has been giving me some problems. I keep getting paired with the stupidest of people. Yesterday, I was in a group of 3 people. We were doing fine. We were on the way to winning the game. There was 5 squads left, and we opened fire on a squad of 3. We knocked down 2 of them, and one of our guys got knocked down by this Mirage guy. And I was chasing him around a building, and I stopped chasing him because he did a hologram, and I didn't know which way he went. So he showed up behind me and knocked me down real quickly with a Peacekeeper. And I was pinging this guy so much. Like, I was spamming it. He was right behind our other guy, and our guy was looking at a downed player, and he was going to do, like, one of those fancy kill moves. And I was pinging this guy so hardcore. I was like, dude, stop. It was such an annoying thing. It was so annoying. I was ready to throw the game out. Well, not really. I still enjoy the game, but it's like when stuff like that happens where someone's like so focused on doing this task that they're doing that they won't even notice or recognize your pings. It really, really just sucks. And so what happened was the Mirage guy came up behind him while he was doing a finisher, popped him a few times with the Peacekeeper, took him down, and our squad was eliminated. And it was so sad because I had my favorite guns. They were doing a good job with their guns. My favorite guns in the game, I mean, it might be controversial, but I love the Havoc with the energy ammo. One of my favorite guns. If I don't find the Havoc, if the triple takes around, I'll definitely still take that. And then also, I really enjoy using the auto shotgun. That has been doing wonders for me because whereas the Peacekeeper shoots once every like 3 seconds, the auto shotgun's just like boom, 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 boom. Even though it does a little bit less damage, I feel like I can knock people down a little bit faster. Now, there are some balancing issues in Apex Legends that I'm kind of uncovering now. Like the Peacekeeper with upgrades on it is essentially a one-hit kill if you get a good shot on someone. The super special gun, I think it's called the Mastiff. That gun really sucks. It's definitely a one-hit kill from a close distance, but still, it's like you run into someone using that. It's like, why do I even try? I'll just put my controller down. It does so much damage. It is ridiculous. But other than that, I'm still having a good time with the game. I feel like once they add in the new characters and update the balancing a little bit, I think it'll be a perfect Battle Royale game. I know I'm not a huge fan of Battle Royale, but Apex Legends has kind of sucked me in. I feel like it feels more like Titanfall than anything else, and I really enjoy that aspect of it. All right. I think that about wraps up this episode. I just want to say for stopping by and listening to me talk about random things. If you want to, you can check out Free Solo on Hulu, YouTube. There's a few other places that's at as well. Also, if you want to, you can check out the podcast on all different platforms, including YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, and iTunes. I don't care where you listen to it. I'm just happy that you're listening to it, so thank you so much. Other than that, I think that wraps up this podcast. A little bit shorter because it is a weekend episode, as you know. So good. Have a great weekend, everyone. Appreciate you stopping by and listening. I am your host, YemmytheFerret, and this has been YemmyCast, a video game podcast.